Hey, what's going on, you guys? This is Madam, and I'm coming back to you once again. This time, I'm going to go over to RadarOnline.com, and this is a celebrities column. This is about Kimora Simmons fighting to keep $93 million as part of estranged husband's criminal case. Ex-Russell mounting war against model. I will list the article right in all of the details in the description, as I always do. And it says Russell Simmons and his ex-wife Kimora have dragged their fight to the federal court, where one-time friendly exes are in a bitter battle with tens of millions online, Radar Online has learned. According to court documents obtained by RadarOnline.com, Simmons and Lee are both staking a claim in shares of a drink company named Celsius that was ordered to be seized by the government. Simmons has been fighting with his ex-wife and her estranged husband, Tim Lesner. Simmons and Lee were married from 1998 to 2009. They maintained a friendly relationship for years. Lee married Barker Lesnar in 2014. In 2018, Lesnar was arrested on charges he participated in a massive foreign money laundering scheme. He has been free on $20 million bail ever since. Lesnar pled guilty in 2018 and was ordered to pay back $43.7 million as part of his deal. Prosecutors used Lesnar as their star witness to convict others. Lesnar will be sentenced himself later this year. At the time of his arrest, Lee and Lesnar used 3.3 million shares in a fitness drink company, Celsius Holdings, to pay for Lesnar's bond and legal fees. In 2021, Simmons sued the couple, accusing them of fraud, knowingly full well the defendant Lesnar would need tens of millions of dollars to avoid jail time, stay out on bail, and forfeit monies for victims' compensation. Defendants engaged in this blatant fraud to achieve that nefarious and unlawful goal, his lawsuit read. He accused the duo of transferring stocks owned by him to their own accounts. He demanded his ex and his estranged husband pay him damages and return his Celsius shares. Simmons and Lesnar denied all allegations of wrongdoing. The civil lawsuit remains ongoing in Los Angeles Superior Court. Now the fight has spilled over to the federal court as part of Lesnar's criminal case. In March of 2023, the court ordered that the investment bank to forfeit all rights and interests in 3.3 million Celsius shares held in Lee's bank account. Lee claimed that 892,732.40 shares of the 3.3 million are hers. She says they should not be seized by the government and should be. The shares are worth $93 million. Wow, that's a pretty penny. Lee explained her shares were purchased 1.5 years before any shares of Celsius stock was restrained by the courts in connection with her ex-husband's criminal case. The purchase of Celsius shares with Lee's separate funds from her personal bank account that was previously funded by income Lee earned from her modeling career and apparel line, among other personal business ventures which Lesnar had no involvement or interest, Lee's motion read. Lee formed an investment company, New Horizons, in 2011. She was the sole member and manager, according to the court documents. Lesnar was appointed as a manager. Lee said she purchased $1 million of worth of stock in 2017. The stock was held in New Horizons. This was done based on Lesnar's promise that Lee would get the benefit of New Horizons' previously acquired shares of Celius, purchased at a lower price, which would be blended with Lee's contribution. The motion read, when Lee purchased the Celius shares in 2017 with our own separate funds, Lee neither knew nor had reason to know that those shares would later become subject of forfeiture. The following read, Lee said Lesnar did not contribute any funds to purchase of any shares. Therefore, she demanded the 892K shares be returned to her account. In regards to Simmons and Lee, Lee said the ex-husband did not invest his own funds to purchase the shares of Celius and did not contribute any money to New Horizons for the purchase of Celius shares. Further, she said he had resigned as manager of New Horizons in 2018 and transferred all his interests in New Horizons to Lee's company. Simmons filed her own stake in the shares. He claimed Lee invested in Celius because he proposed the investment, he said, during his time as manager at New Horizons. He purchased the prior shares of the company with Lesnar in 2015. The same stocks that Lee mixed her shares with after purchasing hers in 2017. Simmons argued that Lee and Lesnar committed fraud and unlawful use of his stocks. When Lesnar legal problems, the disgraced media mogul has demanded the federal court award him at least 49% of the shares. A judge has yet to rule. Recently, Simmons publicly asked Simmons to stop threatening her and her daughters. So that is the end of the article right there. And it just keep getting messier and messier. Like, you know, they were friends. They did have a good co-parenting. Well, outward appearances would have you believe that they had a good, working relationship and co-parenting relationship. But obviously now that is not the case. For whatever reason, it all went, south. And now they're in this bitter, court battle. And, it's been some things that have come out. I think I did do a story on that, where his daughters accused him of being verbally abusive, to them. And Kimora pleaded with Russell to not talk to the kids like that, in so many words. Not verbatim, but in so many words. And it's just, it's just disheartening to see, As far as her ex-husband, I also did a story on that as well, where it talked about how he was in this basic, Ponzi scheme. They would get money and stuff like that, and they got a lot of money, trust me. It was a lot of co-conspirators that he flipped on. He really did help make the case in terms of the government being able to prove that this was an actual thing and the ins and outs and operations, so on and so forth. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this was just around the time that it just started up about, Russell Simmons alleging that, Kimora took the money when his legal troubles began. But the question really is, does Russell Simmons have any stake in the shares that she bought in 2017, being as though that he resigned as manager? Should he be awarded 49% of those shares or 49% of the money or assets, because he proposed the idea in 2015, I believe. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. I mean, I'm like, you know, if you left, you left. I mean, if you gave an idea or something like that, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are entitled to anything unless that's stipulated. If it's stipulated, then fine. You must honor that contract agreement, whether it be written or verbal, whatever. But to this date, it hasn't been any concrete thing that has came out and said, well, this was that and that was this. Like they say, it's still ongoing. But I would definitely like to know what you guys think. So drop down in the comment section as we always do, and come chop it up with me. I love to hear from you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share as well. And thank you guys so much. I truly do appreciate the support, the love, the likes, the donations, and everything. And we're going to keep on moving to the next one.